Hi, this is my review of Buffalo Castle. Buffalo Castle is a very important adventure. It's probably the first tabletop fantasy role playing game solitaire adventure, and because of that, it set a certain standard for the other adventures that came after it from many different role playing games. I think even video games were influenced by the encounters and things presented in this adventure. Now, this is a revised edition for Deluxe Tunnels and Trolls, so there are some improvements. Now, this is going to be a spoiler free review, so if you plan to play this adventure, don't worry, I won't spoil the encounters here. Now, let's talk about the quality of the PDF. The quality is pretty much perfect, everything is clear, well organized. You have these really cool looking old school illustrations in black and white. There are some color illustrations. I won't show you some of the illustrations because they represent some of the things that you will encounter inside Buffalo Castle, and that could be a spoiler. There's also a very nice looking map at the end of the PDF that you can use once you are done playing this adventure. If you want to run this adventure as a multiplayer experience with you as a game master for your run it for your players, you can use the map to further organize things. You just need to check the relations between certain encounters and the general layout. Now, the only thing that I didn't that I think could have been improved in the quality is the entries for the adventure. That is, the bookmarks have the number of the page that you want to go to, but that's not really useful because being a solitaire adventure, you're going to be choosing certain things, certain ways to go, doors to open, corridors to walk into. So if you're like, I'm going to open the west door and it says go to entry 11, you don't have hyperlinks to go to that entry, and because the bookmarks are separated by pages, it's really hard. So if I want to go to entry 15, I would on instinct I would select page 15, but that takes you to the number 11 entries. So it would have been better if the bookmarks were divided by entries rather than by pages, or if they included some hyperlinks in the different entries to take you to that specific entry. Kind of like Bedlam. Bedlam is another excellent Tunnels and Trolls adventure. I'll probably do a review of it in the future, and that PDF is just perfect in that respect. In that aspect, you're going to be able to click the entry and it's going to take you to the specific entry, but here that's a bit lacking. Now let's talk about the contents of Buffalo Castle. Well, first of all, I highly recommend that you take some graph paper or you use some type of mapping software if you're more digitally inclined, because this is a dungeon crawl, a very difficult dungeon crawl, and you will get lost inside Buffalo Castle if you're not careful. After taking a look at the map, I understood why I started walking around in circles at a certain moment in the adventure. So this adventure could take some probably an hour or two more than you expected it to take if you don't map your adventure. So unlike other solitaire adventures where more like let's say encounter driven, where you just need to write down the entry that you already explored or check, this really feels like you're inside a castle. So you have a maze of corridors and rooms, and you have to be really careful, be really observant and intelligent in the way you analyze the layout of Buffalo Castle. So that's certainly something to consider. Now, the basic premise of the adventure is this. There is a certain item, there is a potion that you need to find inside Buffalo Castle. You are hired to get it. So that's the main objective of the adventure, but it's not it doesn't feel like you're obligated to get that potion. There are many other ways to end your adventures in Buffalo Castle, and you don't feel like you need to fulfill that specific objective. If you're playing sort of like a roguish hero that just in it for the money, and you could enter Buffalo Castle and get some money and treasures and get out of there as long before something kills you. Now, this adventure feels a lot like one of those funhouse dungeons. That is, you're going to find many monsters and traps and features that feel like they are just there with no sense other than to challenge the player. But within the context, within the fantasy context, it is justified to a certain degree after you find out who is the ruler of Buffalo Castle and the inhabitants. So it's in a way it feels a bit like the Jigsaw movies. Like there's this crazy guy putting things around just to mess with your character, and there are some rewards for getting out of here alive. And you're going to be challenged in many different ways. There are going to be combat encounters. There are also going to be some puzzles and some traps that you need to get around to reach certain rooms with greater treasure and rewards. And the cool thing is that this is really probably the best in terms of choices, the best concerning old school dungeon crawling as a solitaire experience, because every choice that I took, it felt like I already had the clues to figure out what was waiting for my character. So if you get killed in this adventure, you have no one else but yourself to blame. There are very few instances where there is an element of randomness. If you pay attention to what is described in the adventure, you can tell when that horrible death awaits your character if you decide to do this or interact with that NPC, or if you want to take a chance and take that treasure so conveniently placed over there. You're the one who is going to decide to take a risk or not. And even so, there is a chance by making different checks that your character could get away with taking that risk, that very dangerous action. So you always feel like you're in control despite of the randomness in some of the features. Yeah, and that's really nice. It feels like your the powers of observation and scrutiny are rewarded with every action that you take. And as I was telling you, because there are many ways to get out of Buffalo Castle with some rewards, you don't need to find the main objective. Although the potion that you are looking for, if you find it, is going to give you a lot of money and adventure points. So you're going to be searching for the perfect path or course of action to find that potion, and that's really nice. It's really rewarding when you finally get your hands on that potion. There's also a certain feeling that there's a war of attrition of sorts, in that your character could end up fighting a lot of wandering monsters inside the castle. You're never going to feel like safe inside the castle. You feel like there's a monster around that corner when you least expected a monster to appear. And even if let's say if you're playing with a specialist, if you got lucky and you rolled a really powerful character, you still feel that sense of dread. There are some things that could kill your character then and there, or if you fight too much because of the spite damage, your character is going to his health is going to feel like it's being chipped away. So this is an adventure that always keeps you on your toes, ready for anything. Well, let's talk about what I think of Buffalo Castle. This is an excellent solitaire adventure. Probably the adventure that set the standard or served as a model for all other solitaire adventures. And it's really nice that they added that map at the end so you can play it as run it for your players. So you really need to get this. If you like Tunnels and Trolls, get this adventure. You won't regret it. And it really encourages you to keep on playing Tunnels and Trolls as a solo game as well as a multiplayer experience. Well, thanks for watching my review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. See you later.